In this video, I'm going to guide you through how to find your first online arbitrage product. I remember several years ago where my primary business model was thrifting to sell on eBay, then after thrifting to sell used books on Amazon, and then after it was going into stores to purchase things to sell on Amazon FBA. And so while I was doing all three of those models, I heard people on YouTube talking about the power of being able to purchase profitable inventory online. I remember thinking, how on earth would I ever find profitable inventory to purchase online to resell for a profit? So I totally understand the feeling of having no clue how on earth you're ever going to find anything profitably to sell online. But in reality, the entire time I was thrifting to sell on eBay, I was looking up hundreds of items in the sold comps on eBay. The whole time I was sourcing profitable books to sell on Amazon FBA from thrift stores, I was scanning and looking up hundreds of books in order to find profitable books to sell. And the whole time I was going into stores to do retail arbitrage to sell on Amazon FBA, I had to scan lots and lots of different items in order to actually find the profitable ones. So if you haven't noticed, there's a theme in all three of these business models. In order to actually do it profitably, you have to look up a lot of different items. Online arbitrage is actually pretty similar. You're going to have to look up a lot of different items before you find the profitable ones. But that being said, there are a few things you can do to make this an easier process for yourself. In searching for your first product, I would strongly suggest doing storefront stalking, and specifically storefront stalking the people who don't have a ton of feedback, who are newer sellers. So what even is storefront stalking? Storefront stalking is a method of finding products to sell on Amazon by looking through another Amazon seller's store. And so if this person is selling on Amazon, you can assume that they're really trying to make money with these products. And so they've vetted these products for you to come in there and find them profitably yourself. And so why would I suggest storefront stalking someone who's newer rather than someone who's more experienced? And also, how can you even tell if they're new based on just looking at their storefront? You can tell whether someone's new by looking at their storefront by the amount of feedback that they have. An Amazon seller will probably get one feedback every 1 to 500 sales that they make. So based on the number of feedback that these sellers have, you can see kind of how long they've been selling for. So therefore, I would try to go after people who have under 15 feedback, hypothetically, in order to find the sellers who actually aren't as experienced as some of the other sellers. And the reason for this is because the really high-rated Amazon sellers are often doing wholesale. They're often really good at online arbitrage with discounts and store codes and other ways of getting items much cheaper than you may understand how to do. But the newer sellers most likely don't know as many of these tips and tricks, and so you're going to be able to find where they source the item for and how to actually get it much easier. And as you get more experience, you can start to storefront stalk the people who have more feedback, but you're not going to be able to find the items as quickly if you don't have the skill sets that those sellers have. So in summary, storefront stalking, looking through Amazon FBA seller stores in order to find the items that they're selling so that you can also sell them yourself, is a really good success strategy in order to actually find your first profitable product. So the question now becomes, how do we actually find a good storefront to stock? I would go about this by thinking about what type of item you're wanting to sell. Are you wanting to sell a grocery item? Are you wanting to sell apparel? Are you wanting to sell beauty items? Are you wanting to sell office products, electronics? Think about what you actually want to sell. And then I would look up an item in that category on Amazon and start clicking into that listing and see the people who are actually selling these items. With SellerAmp, you can see both how many feedback these sellers have, and you can click into their store, and you can also click a button in order to Google the item instead of having to type it all out. And so once you have a seller, you're going to want to go into their store and start Googling their items. And just a word of caution, like before, you're going to have to actually look up a lot of different items in order to actually find profitable items. And again, as you're doing this, you can use the Google button that I'm showing in order to Google the items with one click of a button instead of having to type everything in. And when you're looking on these specific sites, try to get acquainted with what kind of sales or discounts that you can get on those sites in order to actually get your items at a more profitable price. So to summarize this video, understand that succeeding in online arbitrage is a lot like succeeding in thrifting or retail arbitrage. You're gonna have to actually look up a lot of different items in order to find the profitable ones. And you can make this much easier by storefront stalking Amazon sellers who are trying to make a profit And then you can also storefront stock the ones who are less experienced. That way it's easier for you to find these items. And if you put in the repetitions, I'm confident that you can find your first profitable product. Then you're also going to grow in this skill and master the basics and turn this into a really profitable business. So if this was helpful to you, then feel free to help me out by subscribing and sharing this video with someone who's getting into Amazon. If you have any further questions, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. But hope you have a good rest of the day and take care.